Imagine a man comes to you and says, "Give me $100 today, and I'll give you $150 in 1 week." At first, you don't trust him because it sounds too easy to be true. But then you think, let's give it a try. So you give him $100. You wait for a week, and surprisingly, he actually gives you $150. Now you believe this man. You feel like you found some hidden opportunity. Then you tell your friends and family. They also give him $100 each. More and more people start joining because they see others getting paid. Everything looks perfect. Money is coming in, people are happy, and trust keeps growing. But the truth is, he is not doing any business. He is not investing your money anywhere. The money he gave you actually came from the money given by new people. No real profit is being created at all. It's just money moving in a circle. This system only works as long as new people keep joining. Old people are paid using new people's money. And as long as new money keeps coming in, everything looks smooth and real. But one day, new people stop coming. Now there is no fresh money, and suddenly payments stop. Panic begins, and the scammer suddenly disappears. Just like that, many people lose their savings and everything. This is called a Ponzi scheme. Millions of people lose their savings every year to these kinds of promises. Most of these quick money offers are not real investments at all. And the scary part is, a Ponzi scheme doesn't look like a scam in the beginning. In fact, the first people who join usually do get their money back. After that, they feel excited. They tell their friends and family. They invest more. And before anyone realizes it, hundreds or even thousands of people get trapped. Today, we're going to look inside this trap. We'll understand exactly how it works, why even smart people fall for it, why it always collapses, and how you can spot it before you lose your money. But before we go deeper, let's understand where this name actually comes from, the real story behind the Ponzi scheme. The year was 1920. The place was Boston, America. There was a man named Charles Ponzi. He was an immigrant from Italy. He wasn't a banker or any famous businessman. In fact, he was quite poor. One day, he received a letter from Spain. In that letter, there was something called an international reply coupon. Now, don't worry if that sounds complicated. It's actually very simple. Think of it like a voucher for stamps. Back then, you could buy this coupon in Spain for a very low price, let's say about 1 cent. But if you took that same coupon to the United States, you could exchange it for American stamps worth 6 cents. Ponzi saw this and did the math. He thought, if I buy a coupon in Spain for 1 cent and swap it in America for 6 cents, that's a huge profit. And then he made a bold promise. 50% return in just 45 days. Now think about it. Banks at that time were giving only about 5% interest per year. And Ponzi was promising 50% in just 45 days. People went crazy. At first, only a few people invested. And surprisingly, after 45 days, Ponzi actually paid them exactly what he promised. Those people became his biggest promoters. They told their friends. Then those friends invested. And again, Ponzi paid them. The line outside his office stretched down the street. In just a few months, Ponzi went from being poor to becoming a millionaire. He bought a big house, a fancy car, and became a local celebrity. But behind all this, there was a secret, a very dark secret. Ponzi wasn't actually buying those coupons. He quickly realized that buying and shipping millions of coupons across countries was almost impossible. So he stopped doing it. Instead, when a new person gave him money, he simply used that money to pay the old investors. No real business, just money moving from one person to another. And as long as new people kept coming in, the party continued. Now, you might be thinking, if everyone is getting paid, what's the problem? Can this go on forever? The answer is simple: no. A Ponzi scheme only works as long as new money keeps coming in. The moment new people stop joining, it collapses instantly. And the reason behind this is very simple math. More specifically, something called exponential growth. Let's break it down in simple. Imagine you start this scheme with just one person. That person gives you $100. You promise to return $150. Now, to pay that first person, you need money from new people. So you bring in 2 new people. They each give $100. You pay $150 to the first person and keep the rest. So far, everything works. Now those 2 people are waiting for their returns. Each expects $150. So now you need a minimum $300. Where will that come from? You need more new people. This time, around 3 or 4 people. Then those people will need to be paid. Now you need even more people, and this keeps growing. 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16, and so on. Very quickly, the numbers explode. This is called exponential growth. At first, it feels slow. Then suddenly, it becomes impossible to manage. Because every round, you need more and more people. Not just a few, but double. Then double again. And here's the problem. By the 20th round of this game, you would need over 1 million new people just to keep the scheme alive for one more day. By the 34th round, you would need 8 billion people. That is the entire population of planet Earth. There simply aren't enough people in the world to keep a Ponzi scheme going forever. It is mathematically impossible. So, how would you know it's coming to an end? When the ending is near, one of 3 things usually happens. First, new people stop joining. Maybe bad news comes out, or people start getting suspicious. Suddenly, no new money comes in, and the people waiting for their profits start asking, "Where is my money?" But there's no answer. Second, panic begins. People get scared and try to take their money back at the same time. But here's the problem. That money is already gone. It has been paid to earlier investors or spent, so when everyone wants to withdraw, there's nothing left. Third, the scammer runs away. Because they understand the math. They know the collapse is coming. So before everything crashes, they take whatever money is left and disappear like never existed. So a Ponzi scheme doesn't fail because someone made a mistake. It fails because it was designed to fail from the very beginning. Now, you might be thinking, the Charles Ponzi case was 100 years ago. I'm smart. I would never fall for something like that. But what if the scammer wasn't a stranger? What if he was one of the most trusted people in the financial world? This is where Bernie Madoff comes in. He wasn't an ordinary man standing on a street corner. He was the chairman of the NASDAQ stock exchange, one of the biggest stock exchanges in the world. People trusted him. Banks trusted him. Billionaires, celebrities, and even charities trusted him. He promised steady, safe returns year after year. And just like every Ponzi scheme, it looked perfect. But behind the scenes, there was no real investment. He was simply using new investors' money to pay old investors. This went on for 20 years, and when it finally collapsed, around $65 billion was gone. That's more money than the entire economy of some countries. So how do you make sure this never happens to you or your family? How do you spot a Ponzi scheme before you hand over your money? See, scammers are smart, but they almost always make the same mistakes. These are called red flags, and if you see even one of them, you should walk away immediately. The first red flag is the promise of guaranteed returns. In the real world, the word guarantee simply does not exist in finance. The market goes up and the market goes down. That's normal. It's like the weather. But if someone tells you, you will make 10% profit every month, guaranteed, no matter what happens, they are lying. Real investments move up and down like a mountain. But in a Ponzi scheme, the returns look smooth, like a straight line going up. And if something looks too smooth, it's probably a trap. The second red flag is zero risk. You will often hear scammers say, "This is completely safe. There is no risk. You cannot lose." But that's impossible. Every investment has risk. Even keeping money under your mattress has risk. Your house could burn down, or maybe a thief can steal. In finance, high returns always come with high risk. So if someone offers you high returns with zero risk, they are not offering you an opportunity. They are trying to trick you. The third red flag is the secret strategy. When you ask, "How are you making this money?" they don't give a clear answer. Instead, they use complicated words and confusing explanations to make themselves sound smart. They want you to feel like you won't understand it, so you should just trust them. But don't fall for that. If you ask someone how a business makes money and they cannot explain it to you in one simple sentence, it is because there is no real business exist. So now you know how this works and how dangerous it can be. Ponzi schemes don't look like scams in the beginning. They look like opportunities. And yes, some people win in the beginning, but most people lose in the end. But if you stay aware, ask the right questions, and pay attention to the red flags, you can protect yourself and the people around you. Because in the end, it's not about how much money you can make. It's about how safely you can keep it. And always remember,